I feel sorry for Shannon Sharp, just a little bit. But something tells me that Shannon Sharp is going to be just fine. I did a little bit more research. I don't like to get really into this because I I'm watching the administration and I'm really working to kind of understand. We are celebrating the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and he's done a phenomenal job. He's done a great job. Um, he's literally tightened up the country and he's given confidence to a lot of people, from investors to law enforcement. Military numbers and enlistment is at an all-time high, so kudos to that. Our country is healing. There was a really strange time where folks didn't even want to serve the country. That's really not cool. President Trump was in Michigan today, and he said that the Democrat Party has lost confidence. They don't have any candidates, and they're looking weak. I totally agree. I think this was a long time coming. I think they overplayed their hand. I think this attempt and grab at power really was one of the modern day marvels. It's just was crazy. Um, and it still feels like we're feeling the effects of yesterday. Guys, welcome to the show. I'm Clyde Yorkshire. Glad to have you broadcasting here from good old state of Texas and Dallas Fort Worth. We love Fort Worth. We love TCU. Shout out to all of my Horn Frogs in the building. TCU always representing, even around the world. Shout out to Egypt, man. I missed that place. I had spent some time there. They were treating me great. Dubai, another fantastic place. How about Germany? Germany, just amazing. What a great place. I'm Clyde Yorkshire. I have my latest book. We have another one about to drop very soon. Black Women Rings Around Saturn. Black Women Rings Around Saturn, available on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Sold around the world with books. We got Audible, Kindle. So you guys check me out. Black Women Rings Around Saturn. Black Women Rings Around Saturn. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James is having a very interesting season. He's hooked up with Luka Doncic, and personally, I like the Mavs the way that they are. Um, I'm not happy Luka's gone, but I would have made that trade myself. um, when Anthony gets healthy, and when the team gets together, Kyrie, that is really unfortunate what happened with Kyrie Irving, because they really had a very competitive team. They have some very nice bigs. Um, also, my goodness, this is going to be a good NBA season. I don't know who's going to win. OKC has a very great shot at winning this. President Trump, his first 100 days, he really, really spoke with confidence. And his third term is being talked about in his first 100 days, which really tells you that there's something crazy going on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. You're on with Clyde Yorkshire. We're talking about Trump first 100 days. He celebrated it in Michigan, the heart, soul of the country, good old Detroit, Michigan. The president really wants to bring the country back. The president has been very clear on our finances, how we use our money, and even letting world leaders know just how we're going to take this. Shout out to all the people in the building. I will look at your comments. We love you. Thank you for coming out. Please share. We also love to invite people on the show as well who has something really serious and not stupid to say, because we love to talk to you. If you have your own YouTube channel, let me know. Clyde Yorkshire at Gmail. Clyde Yorkshire at Gmail. Also, as I said, check out my latest book, Black Women Rings Around Saturn. Black Women Rings Around Saturn, available on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Gmail me, Clyde Yorkshire at Gmail, and let's set something up. I would love to talk to you guys, and we'll have the phone number to call up and all of those good things here in a second. Also, we have our Spotify part two coming. Good Lord, we're in studio this time. We're going to light these Negroes up. Blacks are back. Niggers got to wake up. There's a lot happening right now, and we're taking back a beautiful culture before 1975, black people were really going through a lot, but they were trending in a very amazing way. And one thing about us, family came first, and community, land, farming, and all the things that have made sense. And we've been since reduced to this black woman, liberal left package, and feminist black men would have to put a dress on, or you have to leave like Dave Chappelle. So we've been like reduced to that type shit, right? And if we're not interested in that, it's like you're not part of the left, and black people are tired of this. Now, Kevin Gates, uh, I got some Earl Grey tea here. This is real tea. I got some goddamn real tea here. Now, this is tea. This ain't no Long Island iced tea. This is just Earl, you know. Now, they're saying Kevin Gates went too far in saying that LeBron James, who is roughly considered the GOAT of all times, and in my opinion, I think that there's no question about that. He's the GOAT of all times. However, I don't believe that it is necessary for him to even fathom passing Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, as much as he was an asshole, he was something bigger to black people that nobody around the world has got a Michael Jordan. Is he was not just a great basketball player, he was a light, a planet. Okay, he is Prince. Michael Jordan is Michael Jackson. You understand me? Aretha Franklin. He is to black folk just another level. So LeBron James, yes, you are the GOAT. However, Michael Jordan is beyond the GOAT. It's like let's not even. That's how I see it. Okay. Kevin Gates comes out. I got two phones, one for the rug, one for the boat. That guy. He comes out and he says, I don't like the way his wife, this black woman who's been with him his whole career, they have children. I don't like the way she treats him in public. She makes it seem like it's a chore. And he says that he believes that white women, in public at least, treat LeBron James like royalty. People who've been around him for a long time, coaches and whatnot, owners and things like that. I don't know how much of that you can put out there, but I will say this honestly. I think Kevin has a great discussion that has been on the rise from Kevin Samuels to black men in general. Black men have been trying to have a conversation about our relationship with black women. They don't seem to be having that conversation when they have that conversation with us. Black men seem to not even know how to bring up the conversation. The best one I've seen was Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels had them call up and speak what they were speaking and be like, see, told you, see, told you, see, told you every night, to where 90% of black women were like that, which I told you from the very beginning. It is very rare to stop any black woman in the United States of America and she not be one or both a Christian, black Christian, and a Democrat. That is something that many scholars over the years have talked about, and talked about how it has harmed the community. Because these two programs have forced, I believe, sisters to become very bitter because of the burdens that was heaped on them and all of the roadblocks that, by the way, everybody endured. The Hispanics endured it, the white woman endured it, obviously the black man, Native Americans. Nobody has really come up under the British Empire and had a good time. India went through this, and no disrespect, I believe these are the sad things about black women that they don't understand. When you think about the struggle of the black woman, I support you on that because I'm a black man. When you think of the struggle of the black woman, I support you because I'm a black man. But here's the sad part is when sisters do not understand that people have equally been cast into the fire, whether they were Jewish, whether they were just Irish here in America in the 18, 17, 1600s, whether they were Africans in apartheid, whether they were Japanese in this country, whether they were communist Chinese, whether they were Hitler, whether they were slaves, it doesn't matter. Everybody has went through something. This is the sad part about our people being groomed and grown up in a zoo-like environment we call the inner city, with nothing but local train stops of misinformation and ignorance. And it is showered and sort of laid over like peanut butter and jelly with religion. It's like, damn, you don't know shit about the world and you ultra religious. That has got to be some weird ass interactions. And this is what you get out of our community. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna tie that in. Now, Shannon Sharp has made a complete fool out of himself, and I hope he has a huge joker to hit him with the spades type shit. Like, yo, I told you I had this. Please, Shannon, you better have a joker. You better be able to come back from this because this is ultra embarrassing. And here's why. Shannon Sharp has always talked about his grandparents being raised in the South and being raised in a somewhat unfair environment and has made the best of it, which I can clearly understand because I can say, even in New York, I was raised similar. I've made the best out of my humble beginnings, and it is what it is. I've never seen racism in my life, me personally. I've never dealt with as a black man who's been on this planet, for a couple of decades. I've never dealt with racism in my entire life. I've watched movies on it. I've seen film on it. I've seen what appeared to be my illusionary thoughts of that could have been racist, but I've never, and you don't know how much that means to me. When I sit there and think about my life in America, I'd be thinking every day, like, yo, don't feel like, and this happened to me when I went to Dubai. Don't feel like you've done something wrong because your story hasn't been as bad as this person. Just because you don't fear getting pulled over by the police and you love the police, that you are still a black American person because you're a Republican. I don't lose any points of being black because I'm a Republican. Let me just make sure that y'all understand that because there seemed to be a disconnect in our community where people assume that you don't get a real juicy black motherfucker, okay, if he's happened to be uh without any felonies or just nigga can't talk, you understand me? um so when I was in Dubai, the same thing happened. um I didn't know what my American status felt like around the world until I started traveling Dubai and I became a resident there. And I started working and got all my IDs just like you would in America to drive down the road and to go to the bank and do your local business and duties and whatnot. And once I got situated and stuff, because of my status, like I didn't even have to really carry around anything. Like I traveled like an Emirati. Like I pull up and I walk through customs, like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is me. You know what I'm saying? I'm with Sheikh Muhammad type shit. It was just dope. I really enjoyed that feeling. I don't think I've never felt that in my own country. So I gotta say shout out to them. Same thing in Germany. Like I was really welcomed. Immediately people befriended me. They started, talking with me, like, wow, trying to find out where I'm from and what I think about Germany. And like, I love Germany. I hope that's like one of my places in the future. Like if I could live there for a few years, I love Germany. Like I know there's a lot of crazy shit. There's a lot of crazy shit in America. There's in the Middle East, there's everywhere in Asia. But I don't let the type of stuff bother me. I mean, nah, whatever. Y'all can hold that. I'm good. But Shannon Sharp, my thing is the only thing that you have done wrong, sir, is get into a relationship out of all of the white girls. Out of all of the 20-year-olds that you could have gotten into a relationship with, which is totally legal, you had every right to even marry a whole 20-year-old, you being in your 50s. That is totally legal. If that's what you was trying to do, for real, for real, for real. But you hooked up, sir, unfortunately, with somebody who out here scamming, playing games, wilding out, stirring up shit that been ran through. You dig me? And I'm just at a loss, not for what they alleging he did. What troubles me about Shannon Sharp is, say, how do you talk to any person on the phone? I shut niggas down immediately. If niggas talk to me about some damn drug or too much religious shit, no matter what it is that I don't need to know somebody else's business, I stop it right then and there. Whoop. What happened? Oh, the line must have my battery low. Man, I'm gonna have to hit you back later. We not finna do that. I'm not getting into nobody business over the airwaves because you never know who's recording. You never know who's gonna try to come back and use that. Shannon should have had zero conversations with this woman over the phone. Okay, zero. You text her, hey, what you doing? Boom, I'm in charge. Where you finna be? I meet me in Scotland on Wednesday. Next Wednesday, I'm gonna send you the all of this stuff. My manager get on that, and we're gonna meet at that hotel over there. We're gonna have breakfast and chill out for the weekend, and whatever. Boom, I bang, meet up. What's all this talking stuff, sir? What is all this talking stuff? This is what throws me off about Shannon Sharp. You sit here and you have a conversation with this woman about multiple things, from having babies, sexual stuff. Bro, I don't even feel comfortable doing that with somebody who is my wife or my fiance or girlfriend, let alone some chick I'm just starting to date on and off. Like, what is you doing, Holmes? So, with that being said, I look forward to seeing how this end up. At this time, it's entertainment, you know. Kevin Gates, I believe Kev is, he's this is and okay, and the whole notion that, oh, she's a white girl. Come on. Come on. You sound stupid, because it don't matter if she was Mexican, white, or black. Anybody could have been 20 years old and a OnlyFans, person, and whatever else she is. Anybody could have been that. The idea is not what is her color. The idea is, why is you dating somebody who is a OnlyFans situation? What are you doing? And this is shocking. That part alone, I don't know if you could ever take some of Shannon's advice on anything now. Would anybody take him serious? And it appears that people seen this coming, because Monique and Cat Williams both told Shannon Sharp to watch herself. Because I believe that Shannon Sharp has always been a nice, energetic, happy, fun individual. I believe he don't do no drinking like that. He don't do no drugs. I don't believe Shannon is a troublemaker. I believe Shannon Sharp simply like white girls. And I believe he's probably had them from 19 to 45. And he tried his luck. He rolled the dice, ran into a very well built. Because people saying she's not built right. How do you figure that? Just because this girl doesn't wear a double D, she's not completely overweight. That does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that she is not a well. Because I heard somebody comment on that. I think Dr. Umar did. He said, you know, Shannon likes very small, petite. What is wrong with that? Black women used to look like that all day, every day. When you look at Soul Train, look at them in the 70s. They were very slim like that as well. Um, the only thing, as I said, that Shannon did wrong here is mess with somebody who is looking for clout and looking for money. It's the only thing he did wrong here. And I believe that everybody believes that. I believe Kevin, he probably is not going to be friends with LeBron James, but it may just turn out one day we will go back and we will say, what did Kev- Kevin Gates know that we did not know? Because I kind of see what Kevin sees. I see one day, that relationship possibly not lasting as it should. I can honestly see, unfortunately, where it may not hold, you know, and that relationship may have some issues come down the line. And we may go back and say, what did Kevin Gates see? Because I believe Kevin Gates is on to something. I believe he was talking to something a little bit larger. And I have tried to talk to this issue many, many times because, I believe that black men deserve everything. I believe that our brothers have been neglected. I believe we have been disrespected. And I believe we don't get the type of relationships that we want and used to have in modern times. And so, with that being said, I feel like black men have resorted to other women. And generally, we not trying to hear what other men, black men are saying, and they're snow bunnies and this and that. Like what people care about is actually peace of mind. You know, what you saying, we're not going to enter into heaven because we may have a wife that's Mexican or from Guatemala. What I mean, I just don't agree with that. Or if she's from Ireland, I just honestly don't agree. And I don't subscribe to that. I feel like myself, I'm on a journey. I'm gonna go amazing places. I'm gonna do grandiose things in this universe. I've already have when I look back. And so if I feel that in my presence I need a white woman in my life because she has feminine energy that I need and I can get a peace of mind as well. Okay. I have to probably make some minor adjustments and trying to understand, sometimes the difference, even being from different states or different countries or whatnot. Other than that, it's like you should just want peace. Like I'm tired of worrying about um black relationships. To me, a black relationship is anybody who's in a relationship with a black person. This is a black relationship or a mix, whatever you want to call it. But for me, I think like we should be more concerned with, what we putting in our backyard, buying more acres. Like if my wife is Irish, right? And I'm grabbing acres. I'm increasing my wealth. I'm increasing my land. I'm increasing my, my travels and my reach. Which who are you to tell me that what I'm doing is wrong? And my shit is rolling, 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 rolling. It's just, I don't know. Like honestly, I gotta be honest. It's like I love being a Republican. I love being from New York, born, and then Texas made, refurbished or rebuilt, regenerated, rejuvenated, reinforced. I don't know. But this Texas, you know what I'm saying, is just crazy. I never knew how wonderful it was. I love Texas, man. It's made me into a champion. And I like I said, I just feel like these cases that are right now the most public, Kevin Gates and Shannon Sharp, I think there's a lot of stuff that's in that. And I think the conversation is probably going to start to pick up, because it is a thing now. Like in my day, you should have seen it in the 80s. You had to hear this shit all the time when I was a young kid, growing up in the 90s. I was a, 15, 16, 17, and I used to always hear, man, these celebrity black men and these boxers and athletes and business people and television sitcom people, all they do is when they get on, they just go get a white girl. And then Kanye West is talking about it. And just, over time, you just keep seeing that it's a regular thing. Like, and then, obviously you're made, right? Like in the ghetto, in a community that, you were kind of just thrown into. So, whether it be California, it be New York, it be Chicago, Illinois, or whatever, wherever the hood you from, Compton, for us, it's always been like we got to accept and take what is there, whether it's a chicken store, a check cashing place, what I'm saying, drugs, gangs. We always get enrolled in shit, which really honestly is laid out that way for us to get into. However, these towns, these cities that we live in as black people is honestly, just we're conditioned to accept respectfully what is there, and respectfully the version of modern day black women, as the late great Kevin Samuels, the Godfather, used to say, the modern day version that we are being told we need to accept the black women. It is like black men don't even have a saying this, that like we don't even have an opinion. Now, why is this such an issue for me? Is because when you travel to countries around the world, even in Africa, like Kenya, I've been to Ethiopia, Uganda, I've been to Egypt, and you see how other black cultures get along and they women, you like, wow, you see the relationship resemble every other continent. But when you look in our community, and I believe a lot of this is because honestly the last 30, 40 years without the families being with a father and a mother, I believe there's so much um you know dysfunction, and the real culprits of this situation that has got us to where we are today, where we literally, I honestly, and I'll tell this story. I was talking to a very nice woman. She's a whole grown as African American, beautiful sister. And me and her met at a convention. And right away, her personality and mine just instantly clicked. And I do my test every time. And because I don't waste my time, I say, "You Democrat?" She's like, "Oh yeah, uh-huh." And you obviously is Christian, right? Yeah, okay. I said, "Now look, we gonna try this. We gonna try to get along. We gonna try to chill." She's like, "Well, why are you even bringing it up? Let's, we vibing." She was like, "I might be Democrat, but I'm conservative on a lot of things." I said, "Okay, so we can talk." And you got a great smile, very educated, got property and things like that. Um, left to her from her relatives, and so she got some assets she's in the game with. So I'm like, okay, this seems very, very, very nice. Believe it or not, politics broke a relationship up between us. Listen. So anyway, we're at the convention, man. We're downtown Dallas and we're in the lights. You know what I'm saying? I got me a electric vehicle, wait outside, and I'm like, listen, we could Uber, but we ain't been drinking. So I could drive. Like, she's like, yeah, your car is nice. I was like, well, yeah, so come on, let's roll. Cause she was in town to see a relative that was very, very sick, and she came to take care of them, and it was beautiful. And um, so so we basically at the convention having a great time, wound up leaving, and I think we spent 48 hours together, not completely. Like she would go do what she do, I do what I do, would come back, and maybe a little bit more than 48, but I think it was about 48. Anyway, we had a very, very great weekend, and I caught her at the end of her trip. She had been there for a while and been trying to move around the city and look around and kind of see what's up with Dallas. She's in Cali, so we get into a conversation about politics. Obviously, I had to feel this. I'm not going to leave unless I know where you stand. And it was the most shocking and disturbing conversation I've ever had with a woman in my life. Um, and we're talking conversations about cheating and all of that. Yeah, that ain't nothing compared to this conversation. And she yelled out or cried out. She cried out. That's the right phrase. Why do black men hate us? And she's like, my ex, others who I've talked to, it's like there's this spell. Y'all just so angry. And my first reaction was get her. Then part of me said, okay, no, chill. I hugged her and I said, everything is okay. I was like, I'm not falling for this. You know, she smelled good and everything. So I wiped her face off. I said, say, real talk. I said, say, can I ask you a question? She said, yeah. I said, could you leave that party? Could you leave the construct that you are a part of and meet me in the middle or come over to the right? She said no. And she said a few other things. And it just let me know that we have such a divide, and reconstruction of the slave is real. Black Democrats have been institutionalized in front of our face using Congress, the black church, welfare, using food stamps, public assistance, low housing, and all of these incentives. It's like the aid that we give away, the foreign aid around the world to countries We have it domestically too for the citizens. Here's some financial aid. That's how the Democrats treat us. They throw us a bone, and we go after that bone. We're always going after that bone, and it honestly, it's disgusting. It is, and I believe this is LeBron James' fault. At the end of the day, LeBron James is a Democrat and a leftist and a huge UN supporter. So is P. Diddy. Apparently, so are a lot of artists. And Megan Thee Stallion. Now, you ask yourself, okay, I have no problem with any black folk being a Democrat. I once was. I don't know how the fuck I became one. Oh yeah, you were in a blue state. That just make it that way. Okay. What that don't mean I gotta be a damn Democrat. Yes, you do. There is a covenant and a pact with the black church to sign up every one of your members for the Democratic Party. The first destruction, I believe, of the black community, being that it was built and suffocated by the black church. Once the liberal left and you know invaded, or they was able to control the black church, infiltrated, if you will, they completely transformed black people's software in the reconstruction of the slave. And they use black women as their standard bearer on the Democratic Party, furnishing her in all sorts of executive and prosecuting sort of roles, like Kim Fox and the new Supreme Court lady, the Kamala Harrises of the world. They go out and they get the Whoopi Goldbergs. And you look around at these people, and they have become the worst of us, leaders in a conspiracy theory to have black people using race theories from yesterday to help them get a job. DUI. We were told and encouraged to merge forces with the gay community under Black Lives Matter and other movements, because this was the new anti-white movement, anti-American movement. The gays got money and they're controlling the world. I could care one way or the other who's controlling the world, as long as it's America. But you ask yourself, how did the black community get where it's at, where it feels comfortable on national television saying the things that it says? And again, I believe this situation with Kevin Gates is another example of what a non Democrat looks like. Now, Kevin Gates possibly may not like Trump. He may not like any of the Democrats. I don't know his politics, but I know he's outspoken like he's a Republican and like he's a conservative. And he's talking about other people who the Democrats hold as their elite. And a lot of us is starting to get to that point where we're tearing down the wall. And these people who they've selected to be their mouthpieces, the Gayle Kings of the world, they've run out of things to talk about. Now that the Democrats' major agenda has fallen, and I'm disappointed because the Democrats who've done so many unusual behaviors during the last 10 years that they use black women as their poster child to commit most of these acts. That's what bothers me. Our sisters are so wrapped up in this party that they can't be good wives. They are not being good citizens. They're not being good moral agents. And they're teaming up with a party that broke all rules probably since the Bible days, wanting to sue the president of the United States because he said no men can play in women's sports. This party is running the black church. Got everybody behind Black Lives Matter, a group that two lesbian black women put together, and we have to follow them in a revolutionary march. Unbelievable. The wokeness that has covered black women like a cloud. And so I'm sitting here looking at my sisters like, yo, this ain't y'all. Y'all acting brand new. This new eyelash vibe that's just swept the last 10 years. Everybody's an eyelash hoe. Black women, baby, look at your numbers, honey, because your sisters ain't going to tell you. Black women are not going to tell other black women that they're destroying the community. Your abortions are too high. You got too many eyelashes on. Other black women are not going to tell you these things. You're eating too much. You're not eating the proper foods. Black men will tell you, and you'll get upset and say, why are you talking about me? Why are you putting black women down as if these are not our daughters and our girls? We don't have a right to talk about our daughters and our girls. So, as it relates to white women, what you're continuing to see happen, and this is the strangest thing. I never thought I would live to see something like this where white women are becoming the natural ones and black women is becoming artificial. White women eat more natural things than black women. I have seen very few, probably in the last 10 years, I've seen less than 5 white girls wearing eyelashes. And if they were just, yeah, that was that. There's not a bunch of weaves and extensions and all of this other kind of shit. I don't like that. I can't be married to somebody who's got a fucking costume on every goddamn day. There's all of this arguing and this and that. The community really, 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 really lacks leadership. And I think because of the way black men have been sort of ambushed, if you will, I believe that is why so many of us is deciding, look, we want a, as the Joker said about Gotham City, this city deserves a better class of criminal. And as a black man, goddamn native to America, we was here before 1776, damn it. A white woman is a good prize. We don't have time to be sitting around and fucking just dying. What the hell are you passing down? Any wealth? Any cookbooks? Ladies and gentlemen, you live on this earth and you're here for a moment. If you are dumb enough to miss out on a happy life, and if you're going to get married with a happy wife, and you minimize yourself to a color or a region, that's you. I'm not going to miss this opportunity. I've always asked myself, if I had a chance, but now here's the deal. I asked myself, I says, if I could go to another planet in a rocket ship, would I do it? The answer is, of course, yes. But then I had to remind myself, I don't believe that there's any goddamn planets out there. Similar to the ones that people are imagining. Think those are very different things. Now, I got a few more things to say on this. I've never looked at anybody's life in America and said, oh, I wish I was this person, or I wish I was that person. But I did have common sense to know what a good, healthy relationship looks like, a healthy neighborhood. And most of the shit that I grew up with was not healthy. The food we ate was not healthy. The neighborhood we lived in was not healthy. The politics we share is not healthy. The way we act stupid in the church is not healthy. Shit we just don't know ain't healthy. The relationships ain't healthy. And again, I tell these statistics, right? And people say, "Oh, well, I'm telling the statistics." And in the last 30 years, less than 13% of relationships between white women and black men, all of those relationships, 13% of them or less had some sort of domestic issues, some breakup, some, you know, tragic outcome possibly for a black male, whatever that might be, heartbreak or whatever. That's a very low number. So let's just say in the United States, if there's like 40,000 of these relationships, right? What you talking about? 8,000 may or may not always work, or shit, actually like 3,000, I believe. Anyway, so roughly over 80% of the marriages in the last 30 years that have to do with a black man and a black woman, the black male ends up over damn near over 80% of the times divorced, domestic violence, or some sort of breakdown in communication, and generally leading to the unraveling of the man. And when people say watch out for white girls, yet the numbers are saying that we're having more problems with black women. This is the type of shit that you grow up in. Motherfuckers telling you what kind of food is good for you: bread, flour, fish, chicken. This is the food table in school they gave us. Come to find out, everything on that chart was detrimental to my body. So if I can grow up in a country that can tell me to eat in school a chart of the food groups, everything from cheese, eggs, all that shit is bad for me. I'm a vegan. I don't know about you, but it's bad for me. Milk, not good for me. Hurts my body. That's me. What else is you telling us that don't make no sense? What else is you telling us that don't make sense? I'll tell you what they doing. They tell black women and the liberal left, blacks, the Chitlin Circuit, this is the playbook. This is our woke agenda. And these are the players that are in it, and this is your compensation. We are going to fight to the end to bring this country down, all while celebrating the takeover and the new owners and masters. I would not be surprised if the Democrats voted to change the American flag to the rainbow flag and say that that flag does not stand for gay people. It just stands for all colors of people, and they add another color or two to it. I can literally see the Democrats doing that, and black folks be sitting there voting for them like no other. I honestly, this is the sad part that I did not ever believe I would see in my lifetime. Um, this type of corruption and this type of assault on children, assault on the public, on women's sports and things like that. Like, I never thought I would see black folks on the side of doing these type of things. I thought we would be more conservative, more, more against men and women's sports and things like that. I don't agree with that at all. Like, and I'm glad I don't have to, bite my tongue now and be like, "Oh, I don't. I'm sorry." No, I don't think that men should play in women's sports. What is that about? Unless it's volleyball, I'm okay with us doing that a little maybe. But other than that, nah, I'm not really with that. I think we've gone too far. But I had to sit and watch the Democratic Party support these type of bills and these type of ideas. And sisters saying, "Why don't you vote for us?" And I'm like, "Sis, don't you see that they are increasing the abortion clinics? Don't you see that they're putting more and more check cashing places in our community? Don't you see their agenda has to do more and more with sexuality in schools and in workplaces and in all this kind of stuff?" Like, and what you mean you voting for them? I started to take a hard look at our sisters like, whoa, this is some total recall shit type shit. Really. I started to really wonder what was going on in the United States of America with black folks. I'd never seen anything like it. It actually was very scary for a time. And when you know that you're on the right side of history, you push back. And that's what I had to do many a times. I knew that I was supporting what was right. I knew what Trump stood for was the right thing to do. And I had to barrel through tons of black American woke, rainbow minded, transgender sort of insanity at the same time yelling they're Christians. voting for the left agenda. I did not know how to understand it, right? Now, I'm not honestly against gay community in America receiving any benefits. I believe gay people should receive all benefits that the United States have to offer. And yes, I'm conservative, but I do believe that we have no right to withhold health care. We have no right to withhold jobs. We have no right to say a person can't enter into a sanctuary. Now, if any that we want to say, hey, we can't allow you, unfortunately, to serve in more of a pastoral role, then as well, I could give the church a little bit of leeway there now and say, okay, I see where you're coming from because of what the Bible says. Okay. Um, so let's be clear on that. My issue with black people is that you have an agenda to side with everybody except black men. You always want to side with feminists. You want to side with the left wing Jewish community. You want to side with the LGBT community. You want to side with Save the Seals community. And you want to side with other women and things like that. You want to side with clinics and rabbits and all of this stuff. And the brothers is just tired of it. So when you see tons and tons and tons of black men who are marrying white women, that's not some colonizer bullshit that they're trying to talk about. The reason why in my studies, I study black men, I question them, I look them up and down, I check out how they look, how they feel. When they're with a white girl, there's some similarities to them. Their mind is clear, they're groomed, they're focused, they're positive, they're open-minded, they're very, very giving, and they just seem to be very happy. And this is why any relationship can go bad. But this is why you're seeing brothers enter into relationship with white women in the United States of America. The relationships are having higher success rates than black women relationships. That's unfortunate. In terms of couples growing wealth, a black man grows wealth more with a white woman than a black woman. That's sad. Black men have a smoother marriage and communication situation with a white woman than a black woman, statistic wise. Y'all out here acting like y'all don't watch TikTok. Y'all acting like y'all don't, black men don't act like that with white women. Every time you see some sort of, and I even see it in no disrespect, and even black Muslims, like the Nation of Islam, I be seeing even these women who are supposed to be, a little bit different than the other, religious women. They have a little bit things differ, but even in some of their skits that they were doing, they were showing this dominating black woman who, and this subservient, strong but weak Muslim man who's very obedient but goofy. Like I hate that shit. That's shit. Anytime you see a black man with a white woman and they're doing some sort of TikTok or Instagram skit, it's always some fun shit, some crazy shit, some shit to make you laugh. She's never really belittling the dude. And I have no idea, other than the left marketing scheme, why this is such a custom of modern day black women to roast, melt, decapitate, figuratively, black men, and then claim that we are attacking you. So I believe brothers who have a real purpose, that is to provide for their family, that is to provide for the community, they can handle a relationship with a mixed Hispanic, Asian, or perhaps white or Indian or Islamic woman, because at least they're going to be getting something that, just like all foreigners have in common, they come here and they bust their ass. And all of those women as well have a respect for marriage differently than black American women. And that custom have changed in how black American women used to view marriage and divorce and relationships. And she's turned into, you could even hear it on documentaries, under the welfare state, she's just turned into a one track mind, Democratic, liberal, left, black church, place card, teleprompting reading. And it's scary. Yet you belong to a community. Imagine if they do it to us and you can't speak up. That all we do is race bait, reverse racism, reverse bigotry under some of these so called groups. If we can't be honest about that and say, you know what, maybe because of some of our scars of the past, we've been hurt. And so now we talk hate. Now we talk, uh, you know, revenge on somebody and things like that, because you yourself have been put down. And now you've taken on that spirit. You like to put people down, say mean things, evil things, and wicked things. We can't be like that. I don't want to live my last days and hours and minutes on this planet because black people said that this was the agenda we were going to follow, that I became sickly because I hated. And I was trapped to this never ending, never solving equation when I could have just lived my life. It don't matter who's in my bedroom, white, black, or Asian, as long as when I go in that room, I feel like I am in my orbit. I'm in my safety zone. I'm in my happy zone. I should not go in there and be like, I hope we could have a good night. I hope things will be okay. I hope, like, it's just too much. It's just too much. And it comes with how you're raised, what type of training. And unfortunately, we haven't been giving our children the type of training that we used to. And we can't blame it on the government, the white man, the this, the that, because we good for that. But, we need to take accountability in the black community. And it starts with fixing our families, okay? And how you gonna fix your family if you marry a white woman? Then she's in your family, okay? Or Asian woman or Hispanic woman, then they are in your family, okay? A European woman, an African woman, they are the part of the family. I expect children out of you just as much. Well, I don't think I really want any more kids, but if I did, then I'm still having my seed come through a white woman, a black woman, an Asian woman. It doesn't matter. Still my seed, still my child. Y'all let this goofy shit go. It's gonna kill you. We out of here, baby Paul.